Good afternoon to our listening public and welcome to another of our ECCB's Children's Connection program. I am your host, Auntie Master, and with me in studio, it's two of our co-hosts that have been with us throughout the year. So they will introduce themselves.
Ramalia Thomas.
Hi, I'm Quentin Tong. And I'm Quentin Tong.
All right. Thank you, Ramalia and Quentin, who are with us today. Quentin, what do you say about the prices? Now, before that, today we want to talk about something that affects all of us, especially these days. Our parents keep talking about the high prices of groceries and goods when they go shopping. You all been hearing that from your parents, right?
Yes.
All right. So, Quentin, what do they say about the prices?
They have said that the prices keep going up, but after major events like hurricane and COVID is increased higher.
It has got much higher. Yeah, many people continue to complain about how the prices of items such as food keep rising, and it is getting worse every day. And this is because it is referred to as inflation. Have you heard that word before?
Yes, I have.
Yes.
Okay. So both of you would have heard that word inflation, because this is a common word throughout. So we're going to talk about inflation today. It's going to talk about its causes, its effects on the economies, and we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to share on the issue of inflation.
Word from Oliver's Treehouse, and this time our word is gracious. What does gracious mean? Courteous, kind, and pleasant. When a person is gracious, they possess a tender, considerate, and helpful nature to others. Being around a gracious person makes us feel better and makes us better. The world becomes a kinder and gentler place to live. My name is Oliver, and I graciously approve this message. Now back to your host.
Hi there, boys and girls. Welcome back to the ECCB Children's Connection program, a program produced and delivered by the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. Before the break, we introduced the topic of inflation. Before we start talking, we're going to spell the word for our listening friends. So, Ramalia, can you help us with that?
Inflation. INFLATION.
Inflation. Thank you. Very good. So today we're going to start off with a short story about Jason and his dad going to the movies. And Quentin will share this story with us.
Last weekend, Jason asked his dad to take him to the movies to see the new Marvel film. Jason was looking forward to having a lot of fun with his dad, but he didn't expect to learn something completely new while he was there. When they arrived at the movies, Jason saw his favorite snack, hot dogs. They looked so delicious, and he asked his dad to buy him one. His dad agreed to buy him the hot dog and a drink, but he could not ask for anything else. When the attendant rang up the price of the snacks on the cash register, Jason noticed that his dad's eyes opened really wide. He shook his head and paid for the snacks. Since the movie was not going to start immediately, Jason asked his dad if he could buy him some tokens to play a video game at the arcade, which was near the movie theater. His dad was hesitant, but Jason was very convincing. Jason and his dad went to the attendant to purchase the token. The attendant told Jason's dad the price of the token. "What?" yelled Jason's dad. But when he saw how much his son wanted to play the game, he bought the token. Jason noticed that his dad was almost out of money in his wallet, and he thought that was the reason his dad was so concerned. After they had finished watching the movie, Jason saw a young man selling balloons just outside of the movie theater. He wanted to buy one for his little sister who was home with their mom. He asked his dad if he could buy a red one for his sister. When the young man told them the price of the balloons, Jason's dad said to him, "It seems that it's not only your balloons are inflated." That would puzzle Jason, and he asked his dad what that meant. Jason's dad explained that when you add air to a balloon, it keeps getting bigger and bigger. This means that it is inflated, just like when the price of things get bigger and bigger over time. That is called inflation. Jason asked his dad what type of things he was talking about. His dad told him the price of everything such food, toys, clothes, and even bicycles. He explained to Jason that the last time they were at the movies, one hot dog costed $3, now it was $5, and the price of one game token was $2.50, now it was $4. One balloon used to be $1, now the young man was selling it at $2. Jason immediately understood why his dad was so alarmed at the prices of all of the items that they bought. He didn't think that inflation was a good thing at all, because he thought if prices kept increasing, it may be difficult for some people to buy them.
Thank you very much, Quentin, for sharing this interesting story with us, where we saw some examples of inflation was highlighted. Inflation occurs when we need to use more money to buy the same things. Can you share an example where you or someone you know experienced inflation, Quentin?
Well, at my last school, it used to cost $1 to buy an ice pop, but now it is $2, and it even looks smaller.
Wow! So you mean the ice pop has reduced and the cost has gone up? Wow! Some people think that inflation is when you lose your money. Not at all. But that is not correct. Inflation is when your money loses value. In other words, it is not worth as much as it used to be worth. Jason's dad not being able to buy a hot dog for $3 anymore means that his money lost value, because he now need to have $5 to buy the same hot dog, which was $3. You may hear business people or people on the news refer to inflation in the form of a percentage. So they might say something like the inflation rate in Dominica is about 7%. This simply means that if you had $100 and the inflation rate is 7%, that $100 is only worth $93 now. 7% of 100 is $7. So 100 minus 7 will leave you with 93. So the value have gone down. So if your mom has a set budget to purchase groceries every week and some items go up in price, she will be able to buy less items with her budget. Your mom's purchasing power has fallen. This means that she cannot buy as much as she did before with the same amount of money. So, Ramalia, can you think of how inflation can affect families?
Inflation can affect families in several ways. When prices of goods and services go up, family needs to spend more money on their everyday needs.
Yeah, very, very serious. It means that you're getting less goods for the monies that you have. So, some samples that we can think of from examples: families cannot afford their wants nor their needs. People's purchasing power drops. People are unable to save money since everything is more expensive, or even if they save, they'll be able to save much less. Frustration or stress in the household, serious stress. And you know, when you get stress, what that leads to. It leads to hypertension, it leads to diabetes, it leads to stroke, and all of these sort of things. Less money then is also available in the households for use. So inflation is caused by different factors. Let's look at some of them. Ramale, can you think of a reason why inflation might occur?
Yes, miss. When goods are scarce, it causes a demand for supplies.
Demand. And we have been discussing that in some other sessions that we had. So one of the main reasons for inflation is the decrease in the supply of goods and services. Remember, supply is the amount of goods or services available for purchase. So let's look at an example. And our co-hosts will share with us on that. So Quentin, what do you think a store owner will do if there is a low supply of a pair of sneakers that everyone wants to buy?
The store owner will most likely increase the price because everyone wants them.
Definitely, supply and demand will increase the price. If there is low supply, the storekeeper will most likely raise the price because everyone is trying to buy that particular pair of sneakers. Another reason for inflation is the cost of production of goods. Cost of production is how much the manufacturer, such as the factory, has to spend on the raw materials to produce a good. So Quentin, do you think the cost of a pair of sneakers will be more or less if the manufacturer has to pay more for the materials to make it?
Yes.
That
the
is-
cost of the sneaker will be more. If the raw material will cost more, it will be more.
Okay. Definitely, because it means that you have to spend more money on the raw materials to produce it. Alright, so the manufacturer will increase the price of the sneakers when selling it to the merchants, and you see how these prices go, because once the production is affected, the price of sale will be affected as well, because the merchant has to pay more for the raw materials in order to make the shoes. Sometimes natural disasters such as hurricanes could also lead to inflation. So why do you think this could happen?
Natural disasters like hurricanes can lead to inflation due to the increased cost of goods and services in the affected areas.
Okay, Quentin?
The prices will increase like after Hurricane Maria because there were less supplies of goods and everyone wants it now.
Yeah. So supply and demand's going back there. Right. Well done. When there are natural disasters such as hurricanes, farmers' fields may be destroyed and they're not able to sell their goods to manufacturers. For example, if a hurricane destroys citrus fields, the farmers will not have enough fruits to sell to factories to make juices, jams, and other products. This may cause the price of these items to increase because there is obviously a shortage. So the number of people wanting fruits is far greater than the availability of those fruits. Something similar happened as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, which Quentin raised earlier, when goods and services could not be shipped because countries around the world were on lockdown. This caused shortages which led to inflation. So Quentin, what do you understand by the word shortage?
To me, The word shortage means there's less goods available than people want.
A shortage is simply a decrease in the supply of a product. There is less of it available for buying and selling. Another reason for inflation is the increase in wages or increase in the supply of money. When people make more money, sellers often increase the price of goods and services. Do you think that is fair, Quentin?
I don't think that is fair because the prices will always be more than the salaries.
Ah, very good reasoning. And Ramali, are you familiar with the term VAT or value added tax?
Yes, miss. Revenue paid to government on goods purchased.
Okay, so it's a tax that the government place on some items, goods and services. So when taxes such as VAT are placed on the prices of goods and services, this causes inflation as well because the prices are increased. So this means that the customer have to pay more for these items. Quentin, can you tell our listening friends what you learned about inflation today, because there's so much that we shared, and what are your thoughts on it?
Well, what I learned about inflation today is that inflation is the reason why the price of goods and services increase. As the price increases for a different reason, the value of our money gets less.
Wow. Very good. So inflation could be very harmful to us, as we have learned, as well to our economies. So if it is out of control, you know what happens. But as long as inflation can stay steady over a period of time and not increased so fast that people's income cannot keep up, we can still grow and have an efficient economy that works well for families and the entire country. So once we can have the inflation under control, then we stand a chance of at least having a good economy. So today we learn, dear friends, inflation is increase in prices of goods and services over a period of time. Our purchasing power is what we can buy with the money we have. Inflation has different effects on our families and our economies. Some causes of inflation include decrease in supply, cost of production, shortage of raw material, taxes and increase in wages or supply of money. So let's take a short break and listen to a lovely jingle, and we'll be right back for the call-in segment and fun prizes. So please, I hope you had your pens and your books ready and you have taken all your notes and are ready to respond to our questions to win prizes. We'll be right back. Hi children, this one is just for you.
It is the ECCB Children's Connection Program coming your way on this station. Come, listen.
Join me, Auntie Marcia, and my co-host
Quentin Tong and Ramalia Thomas and other children just like us, ages 5 to 12. Listen and participate in exciting stories, powerful lessons, smart quizzes, wise words, and win prizes. Awesome!
ECCB Children's Connection Program every second Sunday of the month at 1 p.m. on this station. Don't you miss it.
Sponsored by the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank.
Welcome back, everyone. Let's see if our friends and their families remember what we learned today about being safe online and all about inflation as well. Please call us at telephone number 1-800-327 or 448-3284 for a chance to win some fun prizes. All you have to do is be the first to answer one of the questions correctly. So Quentin and Ramalia will be reading the questions to you all, and you only have to answer one question. Yes, Sam Quentin?
Number 1. The first question is, inflation means The first question is, inflation means that the prices of goods and services are going up.
COVID-19 pandemic.
The second question is multiple choice. Is a multiple choice question. Last week I bought a loaf of bread for $4. This week the price of the bread is $6. I only have $4. This means that the purchasing power has A. increased, B. decreased, and C. stayed the same. The third question is true or false. Natural disasters such as hurricanes can cause a shortage in raw materials for the manufacture of goods. This could lead to inflation. The fourth question is VAT stands for. The fifth question is true or false. Increases in wages is not an example of something that could cause inflation.
Okay, so you heard the questions.
It's there.
Very easy response, and we're hoping we're going to have a call online to respond to the questions. Do we have a caller? Okay, we do not have a caller. Remember, the number you call is 1-800-327 or 448-3284. The question: inflation means that prices of goods and services are going dash. Multiple choice. Last week I bought a loaf of bread for $4. This week the price of the bread is $6. I only have $4. This means that my purchasing power has either increased or decreased, or it stayed the same. So which one? True or false? Natural disasters such as hurricanes can cause a shortage in raw materials for the manufacturing of goods. This could lead to inflation. Is this true or false? And VAT stands for dash. True or false? Increase in wages is not an example of something that could cause inflation. So these are the questions. I hope one of your girls or boys could call so that you could win some lovely prizes. Do we have a call online?
It's not.
Okay, we do not have a caller, and we're running out of time today. Realize we have started a bit late, so we're going to give you, if we do not have a caller, we'll give you the answers. So inflation means that prices of goods and services are going dash. Ramalia, what's the response?
Up.
Okay, correct. Multiple choice. Last week I bought a loaf of bread for $4. This week the price of the bread is $6. I only have $4. This means that my purchasing power, has it gone up, it has gone down, has it increased, decreased, or it stayed the same? Quentin?
It has B. Decreased.
It has decreased, correct. True or false? Natural disasters such as hurricanes can cause a shortage in raw materials for the manufacture of goods. This could lead to inflation. Is this true or false, Ramalia?
True.
True. Very true. VAT stands for, Quentin?
Value added tax.
Value added tax, and we should be familiar with that. Those of us who go to the shop, especially your parents, we pay 15% on goods and services. True or false? Our final question: increases in wages is not an example of something that could cause inflation. Is this true or false, Quentin?
This is false.
Okay, this is false, because our wages increase is not an example. Decrease in the wages. Okay, so we have learned a lot about inflation. There's so much that we have learned today. So Are we ready to hear from wise old friend Oliver? I believe he has a very important word to share with us today.
Well, boys and girls, what do you know? It's another month, and it's time for another wise word from Oliver's Treehouse. And this time, our word is gracious. What does gracious mean? Courteous, kind, and pleasant. When a person is gracious, they possess a tender, considerate, and helpful nature to others. Being around a gracious person makes us feel better and makes us better. The world becomes a kinder and gentler place to live. My name is Oliver, and I graciously approve this message. Now back to your host.
Thank you, Oliver, for introducing our word for today. Gracious. Gracious means to do what is polite, kind, or right. Being gracious is most easily expressed through good manners and considering the needs of others. It is not about being fancy. We will now share a poem by Dwayne Bailey titled A Gracious Heart. Romalia, can you recite our poem?
A gracious heart. There is a gift called a gracious heart that is given to but a few that are able to share the Lord's love in everything they do. To stop and say a kind word to someone who's feeling down, to help put a smile on their face where there used to be a frown, or stop and help someone who is not able to repay, is to share the Lord's special love in a very special way. Age and gender make no difference in the giving of a generous heart. Only that those who receive this gift believe giving is the best part. By Dwayne
Bailey. Wonderful. Only that those who receive this gift believe giving is the best part. Gracious, being gracious, you give. Give without even considering something in return. So, boys and girls, today we learned that inflation is the increase in prices of goods and services over time. Our purchasing power is what we can buy with the money that we have. Inflation has different effects on our families and our economies. Some causes of inflation include decrease in supply, cost of production, shortage of raw material, taxes, and increases in wages or supplies of money, or also hurricanes and all other natural disasters. So we want to say thank you very much for your listening today. Today is actually our final program for the host and co-host. Remember, every new term that we have new co-hosts coming in. We want to say hi and hello to Osa, Mary Hunter, and Khalid Collier, that these were our two hosts who started the program when it started 2 years ago. So we want to just say hi and hello to them and wish them very well. And today, my co-hosts there, Ramalia and Quentin, will give them an opportunity to say their highs and hellos to the family and friends.
I say greetings to my family, friends, loved ones, and
Okay, Quentin?
I would like to say hi hello to my family and to my auntie who got me onto this show. And I would like to say that I will miss it.
All right. Thank you very much, Ramalia. I want to thank your parents for allowing you to be part of this program. It was a very interesting program, right? right?
Yes.
Yes, and we learned just so much learning which took place on this program, and we hope also that our people out there, the listeners, the girls and boys and your family learned a lot, and you from there you have been able to use some of this new education and information that you have for your own benefit to help in managing your finances properly. So we have come to the end of the ECCB Children's Connection program. We were indeed happy to have you join us today, and we hope you're going to look forward to the new program in September. So until we meet again, I am your host, Auntie Marcia.
And it's me, your co-host, Ramalia Thomas.
And your other co-host, Quentin Tong.
Let's talk again soon, but until then, be gracious to others and
Stay connected.
hi children, this one is just for you.
It is the ECCB